The librarian who armed America with books. It was 1942. America was reeling, and the entire nation was mobilizing for war. Factories churned out tanks, ships, and planes. But for the millions of young men drafted into the military, the battle had a surprising new enemy, a crushing, debilitating boredom. Commanders quickly realized a bored soldier was a vulnerable soldier. Low morale, homesickness, and mischief were a real threat to readiness. The army needed tanks and bullets, sure. But what they desperately needed was a way to keep their minds sharp and their spirits from breaking. They needed an escape. They needed books. And that's where our hero comes in. This is Althea Warren. She wasn't a general or an industrialist. She was the head librarian of Los Angeles. And she was handed a mission that seemed almost laughably impossible. Her task? To collect 10 million books for the troops. In 1 year. Now, imagine that today. No internet, no social media, no viral campaigns. Just a nation still climbing out of the Great Depression, where books were often cherished possessions. How on earth do you do that? Althea Warren didn't have a massive budget. What she had was an army of her own. She activated a network everyone was underestimating, librarians across America. And they, in turn, mobilized the most powerful force for good there is, community. This is where the story gets beautiful. They partnered with the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the Elks Club, the Rotary Club. And they gave every child in America a mission. They became the foot soldiers of this campaign, going door to door in their own neighborhoods, asking for donations. It wasn't a chore, it was a patriotic duty. Kids would show up at their local library with wagons overflowing with books their families had donated. But here's the part most people don't know about. This wasn't just about collecting any book. This was a curation project on a national scale. In church basements and library halls across the country, an army of women volunteers did the meticulous work of sorting through every single donated book. They had rules. No racist propaganda. No depressing books. No damaged, dirty, or morbid books. They weren't just sending paper. They were sending morale. They were sending a piece of home, a distraction, a lifeline. They understood that the wrong book could do more harm than good. The logistics were a nightmare. But they figured it out. A national pipeline was created, from the front porch to the library, to the sorting center, into crates, onto trains, and finally, onto troop ships heading for every corner of the globe. These books were classified as victory supplies, right alongside ammunition and rations. The campaign didn't just hit its goal, it shattered it. They collected over 18 million books. But the number isn't the inspiring part. You could find a soldier in the rain-soaked forests of Belgium forgetting the war for a few hours because of a Western novel from Arizona. A sailor in the vast, lonely Pacific could be reading a love story that came from a porch in Ohio. But the campaign had a permanent legacy. The military realized hardcovers were too heavy and bulky. So, they invented something new, the Armed Services editions. These were small, lightweight, sturdy paperbacks designed to fit in a soldier's pocket. They printed over 120 million of them. And here's the incredible ripple effect. Many of these men, through these random books, discovered new worlds, new ideas, and a thirst for knowledge they never knew they had. When they came home, they were ready. They used the GI Bill to go to college in unprecedented numbers, creating the educated middle class that built modern America. These books didn't just help win the war, they helped win the peace. So, the next time you see an old paperback, think about this story. It's a story about how a quiet librarian and an army of volunteers and children decided that one of the most powerful weapons we had wasn't in a factory. It was on a bookshelf. And they used it to arm the greatest generation with stories, hope, and a future. Thank you for listening to The Librarian Who Armed America with Books. This story of Althea Warren and her army of librarians, volunteers, and children reminds us how stories can change lives and shape history. If you are moved by this tale of resilience, community, and the transformative power of books, don't miss out on more inspiring audiobooks like this. Subscribe to my channel for new stories every week, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, and updates on upcoming releases. Join our community of story lovers, and let's keep the magic of storytelling alive together.